Hello everyone, we're here today to talk about extreme minimalism or the lack thereof in my life during the past year. So it's been about a year since I made this video and came to the conclusion that I want to ditch extreme minimalism, and I'm going to link you the video that I made then. I can also link you the video that I made 6 months ago, which is kind of like an update. But it's been 6 months again, so there has been some changes in thoughts and practice and how I feel, and I want to share this with you today. So I do have to say first, I feel great. I do not regret at all making this decision to abandon extreme minimalism, but let's get a bit deeper into it. So minimalism, especially if you start, is usually about decluttering, about having less, and about like working towards having less stuff than you have now. And so that's of course what I did for many years. And now I'm about like 7 years into minimalism. And I just realized like 1 or 2 years ago that I'm kind of reaching a border there where it's not really helpful or possible anymore to have less and less. And that's also kind of one of the reasons why I decided that now I kind of want to focus on enough and a good amount instead of always having less. But of course also not falling into the mindset of like consumerism where I want to have more and more, because that's absolutely not going to make me happy, and I know that. But I also realized that less is kind of the same thing in the other direction, which also isn't going to make me happy. And because I think minimalism in the first place should help you focus less on stuff and not focusing on less stuff. And I think like having that balanced amount of things and having enough helps me do that. But I have to say one thing for extreme minimalism. Like the ideal of extreme minimalism is this crazy freedom, or just having such a small amount of things that you can just pack everything up. It's amazing, I get it, but I just realized that this is an illusion. It's like the illusion of being fully in control of your stuff, of being able to not need things, of being able to be free from like physical things, the physical world almost. To be honest, even 7 years into minimalism, there are still areas where I kind of struggle with stuff and with clutter. And I'll name you the 2 areas that I can think of right now, and that is paper clutter. There's just always paper coming into my life that I need to sort through, that I don't feel like doing, that like builds up, and then I need to take a day to like organize it again, which is like not ideal, which I don't like. And the other area is actually decluttered stuff. So I think it's really hard to, because I mean decluttered stuff will always happen because our lives change. Even if we are already minimalists, there will still be some changes and things break and things like that, and you always need to kind of like take care of decluttered stuff, especially if you want to make sure to declutter it sustainably and not just throw it away into the garbage. And that is where I can really like see that this illusion of a perfect extreme minimalist lifestyle just doesn't happen. Maybe you can do it and I can't, but that is my reality, and I realized that it's not a goal I want to strive towards anymore. And because I realized that I'm like never gonna be 100% able to be in control of my stuff and to be in absolute control of my life, that there are always some variables, there are always things that could stress me out, there's always gonna be clutter that's, happening. I also want to kind of use the Pareto principle. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it kind of says that with 20% of the effort, you can have like 80% of the result, but to get to 100% of the result, like the remaining 20% of the result, will take you 80% of the effort. So I think it's also called the like 20-80 rule, and I think that's absolutely true in so many areas of life, and I think it's also true for minimalism. So I'm not going to be like a 100% perfect minimalist or extreme minimalist. 80% is enough. If that means that I can take away the focus on stuff and just like focus 20% on stuff and maintaining the things I own, but have like 80% of the result of like a kind of carefree life, of spending less money, cleaning less, having to maintain less, all these benefits that come with like owning less physical things. And with that, I also realized that like decluttering plays less of a role in my life. And I mean, nobody kind of becomes a minimalist to then spend their time decluttering and have decluttering as their new hobby. Kind of, that's not the end goal. And therefore, in the end, if decluttering doesn't play such a huge role, and if consuming doesn't play such a huge role, if maintaining my stuff doesn't play such a huge role, in the end, kind of like actively being a minimalist also doesn't play such a huge role, because I do not want to identify myself just as like being a minimalist. I'm so much more, and minimalism is just a concept that can help me to live an intentional life, which brings me kind of to a struggle that I've had during the past year, or during the past few years actually, sometimes, that I maybe overthink minimalism, or realize that, you know, you can call everything minimalism, and then if you look too closely, you can't find the minimalism in there anymore. Maybe let me give you some examples. So I think minimalism as a concept, I think it's even hard to define it, but for me it would mean looking at all of the areas of your life and getting rid of excess stuff, getting rid of distractions, and focusing on your priorities and focusing on the things that actually add value to your life. And I think that's like pretty much what minimalism is. But then when you look more closely and when you apply to stuff, then that's maybe the usual definition and what most people are talking about when they declutter their closets, declutter their home decor, and simplify their routines and things like that. But then, you know, when you go beyond that with like how you spend your time, decluttering friendships, cleaning up your mental health and things like that, then you kind of have to question, like, is this minimalism, or is this just like caring for myself? Is it therapy? Is it trying to be more effective in my work life? I think a lot of what we do and call minimalism is also just trying to live an intentional and happy life. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not doing it for minimalism, and I think that is really important. And I'm not doing it for extreme minimalism. I'm doing it to live a life that I am happy about, to live a content life. And so these two are often the same. And I think you shouldn't pursue minimalism if it's not like equal to living the life you want to live. And you know, pursuing your ideal life means getting rid of distractions, and it also means getting rid of clutter, taking care of your mental health, and making sure you have a good work-life balance. You can rest and surround yourself with people that mean a lot to you. And so I realize more and more that I cannot identify anymore with like striving for extreme minimalism, because that's not like the end goal. My end goal is trying to live a content life up to my values and trying to kind of like be part of the change that I want to see in this world, and, you know, just live a meaningful life. And what I described as minimalism is absolutely a part of that, but it's not like, I just think saying it's extreme minimalism or striving for extreme minimalism would leave out so much of the important stuff and kind of just do more harm than good, in a way that it makes me focus too much on stuff. It makes me focus too much on having less. It makes me focus too much on like this perfect ideal that I don't think I can reach, and that I don't think is like the healthiest choice for me and my current lifestyle. So extreme minimalism might be a great tool, and I am definitely using it whenever I try to pack light for a trip, because there, like, every little bit of weight can make such a difference, and traveling light is just amazing. But I don't think this is a tool that is beneficial in my everyday life anymore. And so I ditched it a year ago, and I couldn't be happier. And I still try to be very mindful with my possessions, with how I spend my time, and everything when it comes to like minimalism, or how I described like living a happy life. Yeah, now I would be really interested in hearing from you, if you would define yourself as a minimalist, how you would define minimalism maybe, and if you agree with me on this subject of like, is minimalism or all of these things, if they're used right, just a pursuit of like a fulfilled life, or is it actually something else? And of course, there might be a lot of people that cannot use minimalism to pursue a happy life, but I think for many, it's a great tool or a part of that journey. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I'm now gonna link you the video from 1 year ago. Tell me if you like my hair back then, because it makes me want to cut off my hair again. And I hope you enjoy it and see how I felt like a year ago about the extreme minimalism thing. So I hope to see you there or in my next video, and therefore, goodbye.